Let's say you want to build a gaming PC in 2026, but your budget is seriously tight. You're looking at used hardware, and you come across the Ryzen 5 3600. It's old, yes, but does that automatically make it a bad choice? Not necessarily. The real question is, can we use this older CPU to build a gaming PC that still delivers good performance without spending a fortune? The Ryzen 5 3600 gives you 6 cores and 12 threads on AMD's AM4 platform. And that's exactly why it's interesting for a tight budget build. You're not buying it because it's the fastest CPU anymore. You're buying it because it's old enough to be affordable, especially on the used market. And if you can get the CPU and motherboard cheaply, you can put more of your budget where it actually matters for gaming. For the rest of the system, I'd keep things practical. Go with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 using two 8 GB sticks, ideally around DDR4 3200. A reasonably priced B450 motherboard can make sense, or B550 if you find one at a good price. And don't skip the SSD. Even on a budget, a decent NVMe SSD will make the whole PC feel much better than running your operating system from an old hard drive. Now, this is where I'd spend most of the remaining budget: the graphics card. If you're building around a Ryzen 5 3600, I think the RX 6600 is one of the most interesting starting points for a budget 1080p build. You can also look at something like a GTX 1660 Super or RTX 2060 on the used market. And if you find a good deal, stepping up to something like an RX 6650 XT can give you even more performance. For me, the sweet spot for this kind of build is still 1080p. With the right GPU, you can get a very enjoyable gaming experience. You can also play at 1440p with a stronger graphics card, especially in games that are more GPU heavy. But don't expect the Ryzen 5 3600 to behave like a modern high-end CPU. In CPU-heavy games, or when you're chasing very high frame rates, newer processors like the Ryzen 5 5600 will pull ahead. So, would I recommend the Ryzen 5 3600 in 2026? Only if the price makes sense. If you find a cheap used CPU and motherboard, and the money you save lets you buy a better GPU, then yes, it can still be a smart budget choice. But if the Ryzen 5 5600 is only slightly more expensive, I'd rather go with the 5600. At the end of the day, you're not trying to buy the oldest hardware you can find. You're trying to get the most gaming performance for your money. So, what GPU would you pair with a Ryzen 5 3600 in 2026?